What's good, everybody? Good evening to the U.S. audience. Good morning to everybody in India as we welcome to the Patel and Kumar live watch party. Of course, you know me, Shivam Patel, the host, and my co-host, Mr. Kumar, in Mumbai, India. He's got his mug. He's ready to go this morning, bright and early in India. Mr. Kumar, we have Game 6 here of the Suns and Clippers. Will Paul George and the Clippers force a Game 7 back at the Valley, or will Chris Paul finally get over the hump and get to an NBA Finals? But Mr. Kumar, good morning. How are you, sir?
Good morning, top of the morning. I am refreshed and I'm just waiting to get this party started. The Patel and Kumar NBA live watch party, Game 6 of the Suns and Clippers. And as you rightly said, is it going to be go home for the Clippers, or is it going to be extending the series and taking it back to Game 7 at the Valley, at the Suns? So it's going to be the battle of two Pauls. Is it going to be Chris Paul, or is it going to be Paul George? Paul George is coming off an historic performance in Game 5, where, it was all expected that the Suns are going to close out the Clippers, but nevertheless, we are here in Game 6. And the score is, I think, 23-20 right now with about 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first quarter. And we are starting our party, Mr. Patel.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Exactly. It's a big game here. Well, which playoff George are we going to see? Are we going to see playoff P, or we're going to see George Paul or pandemic P? Very interested in hearing, how he plays so far. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Remember to put your comments in the chat section below. We'll have a little, contest here. Make sure if you want, everybody, you can guess the winner of this game and then the score margin, and have a little competition here where, so Mr. Kumar, just real quick, who are you predicting to win this game?
I think the Suns are going to close out today. I think it's going to be a very close game, but I think it's going to be like a 3 or 4 point margin by which the Suns might take over and probably send the Clippers back home.
All right, I'm going to go with the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to win 109-108. Paul George is going to make a big go-ahead shot with 10 seconds left. We're going to have some drama, Mr. Kumar, in my opinion. So let's see what's going to happen. Again, it is a timeout, 23-20 Suns leading in this Western Conference Finals. And during the timeout, we'll also just want to briefly touch on the Eastern Conference Finals, Mr. Kumar. It's tied 2-2. Unfortunately, Giannis got hurt yesterday, but there's no structural damage to his knee, which was good news. Let's see if he returns the rest of the series. Of course, Trae Young is out with the bone bruise in his leg. But this series is tied 2-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals with Game 5 tomorrow night in Milwaukee.
Yeah, I'm just so happy for Giannis that it isn't like a major injury, because when you look at it first, it just seemed like, oh man, this is going to be a sad ending for a brilliant season for Giannis. This was probably one of the greatest chances for Giannis and the Bucks to get the championship, because you pretty much don't have any of the stars, major all-stars playing, in the conference finals. So it's an injury-prone postseason. A lot of stars injured, and you can add, Giannis to that list as well.
Yeah.
So one of the few all-stars who are not injured and currently playing are probably Devin Booker and Paul George, who are both playing in the Western Conference.
Yeah, and Chris Paul, exactly. The Suns, Mr. Kumar, the healthiest team right now in the Western Conference. As Mr. Kumar correctly said, the other teams are missing their star. So let's see if the Suns can take advantage of it tonight as we are getting back into action here in the first quarter. As you're winding down the end of the first quarter here, Suns still have the lead 23-20. So, Mr. Kumar, just before we get back to action, what is your observation in this first quarter? Who do you think is playing well? What do you think is happening right now on both sides?
Well, I just started, so I don't have much to say about. But
yeah, he's on this.
But there's a good block on Cameron Payne by Paul George, and the score is still 23-20 with about 1 minute and 50 seconds left for this quarter to end.
Yeah, and from what I've seen early, DeAndre Ayton has a couple baskets, Mr. Kumar, in the paint. He's the X factor for the Suns. If you look at the games that DeAndre Ayton has played well, the Suns have won. So Devin Booker and Chris Paul are going to do their thing. They're going to get buckets, but DeAndre Ayton establishing that presence down low is going to be huge for the Phoenix Suns in this game. So that's something
A three by Cameron Payne extends the lead to 6 with about 1:20 left in the first quarter of Game 6, Suns versus Clippers.
Well, Cameron Payne has been a pain for the Suns. He got injured earlier, but good to see him make a nice 3 and see if he can get it going early.
Make it an 8-point game with a nice jumper from the elbow for Devin Booker. He does not miss from that position at all. And DeMarcus Cousins makes it a 3 and cuts the lead back to 5.
It looks like the Clippers are giving in a little bit with DeMarcus. They've been playing the small lineup, but they're going a little bit big so he can match up with DeAndre Ayton. And DeMarcus Cousins, Mr. Kumar, he played really well in Game 5. He gave them something, gave them toughness, attitude, scoring, defense. So let's see if he can replicate that same performance.
And an answer back by Devin Booker, 31-23. It's like a tennis match going on, 3 and 3, and another 3 by Reggie Jackson at this end. So,
did the forecast call for rain in LA, Mr. Kumar? Because it is raining outside the Staples Center right now with 3s as both teams are shooting hot from the field. Clippers scored. I'm a little bit behind from Mr. Kumar, but I see the Clippers have 26. So,
yeah, it's 33-26 with 9 seconds to go. For the end of this quarter, Reggie Jackson, and that's a foul called here on Tony Craig, I believe.
Yeah. With 5 seconds left to play in this first quarter. Been an up and down kind of game, fast-paced and lots of shots made. So it's great to see this offensive production so far.
DeAndre Ayton with that last basket, making it 33-26.
Yeah. Nice little lob. Yeah, it was a foul on Torrey Craig trying to fight over the screen as Reggie Jackson was trying to attack the basket. So,
I mean, luckily they had a foul to give. So,
okay.
DeMarcus Cousins, and he banks it. A bank shot for DeMarcus Cousins right at the buzzer.
33-29, end of the first quarter. Phoenix Suns are up. Let's see if they can make it to the NBA Finals. So, Mr. Kumar, a big reason that I picked the Clippers to win this game is I saw a stat earlier. Tyronn Lue, the Clippers head coach, is 10-2 in his career in elimination games. So, of course, we all know coming back from 3-1 when he was with LeBron and Kyrie with the Cavs, in a couple years ago in 2016 against the Warriors, the 73-9 Warriors team. And then earlier this playoffs, the Clippers were down 0-2 to the Mavs, down 3-2 to the Mavs, came back and won. They were down 0-2 again in the second round against the Jazz, and they came back and won. And they were down 0-2 again in this series. So Clippers are the comeback kings, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, and in this series, they've facing elimination since the last 2 games because they were down 3-1 as compared to the previous 2, postseason series. But a good game for DeAndre Ayton the first quarter. He's already got 10 points and 3 rebounds, 9 points for Devin Booker, 6 points for Chris Paul. And at this end, Reggie Jackson, the highest scorer with 8. And DeMarcus Cousins with those 2 threes has got 6. Paul George is on 4 points and 4 rebounds. So that makes it 33-29 in favor of the Phoenix Suns, who are leading by 4. They led almost by up to 8 in this quarter, and then a barrage of threes by both teams cuts the lead to 4 for Phoenix Suns. But what I like about in this quarter is at least they're going down low to DeAndre Ayton to attack the basket. I think that is something that they didn't do much of in Game 5, and they were trying to rely more on the shots from outside, and Devin Booker wasn't really feeling it last game, although he had 31 points. But at the same time, I think the more you attack in the paint, you can really create that mismatch sometimes. And also Zubats, who's injured, and DeMarcus Cousins are not really known for their rim protection. So maybe get a foul, keep going at it, and of course you can have players like Cameron Payne, Devin Booker, hot up from outside whenever they need to. So I think it's a good strategy by the Phoenix Suns. Hopefully they continue with that. And of course, they got to stop the perimeter shooting, especially Reggie Jackson, man. He's a revelation
Yeah.
this season. He was down and out in the previous season. He came in after, waivers from Detroit Pistons, I believe, and the Clippers picked him up. And, he's been a different ball player this season. He's been, great at threes. I think he's 50, 60, and 88. That's what his shooting percentages are from the field, 3-point line, and from the free throw line.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson is definitely playing himself into a big contract. The key for me in this game is which teams others are going to step up. So the last game, it was Marcus Morris, Luke Kennard, Patrick Beverly. The Suns' others would be like Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Torrey Craig, Saric. So whatever teams others and supporting cast step up and play well, make shots, or aggressive, play defense, that's going to be the key. We all know what the stars are going to do. We know Paul George is going to show out. We know Chris Paul is going to do his thing, getting to his mid-range shot, as well as Devin Booker can score at all three levels. But whoever's supporting cast can help them out is going to be the key, because you saw the last game, Paul George did not really play well until the third quarter, but he had Marcus Morris playing well. He had the others get it going. So the night allowed him to be able to get into gear and bring the Clippers home, in the third and fourth quarter, of that last game. So before we start in the second quarter, I just want to read some team stats, Mr. Kumar. The Suns are shooting 64% from the field. Both teams have made 5 3-pointers, 0 free throw attempts for both teams, which is very surprising. Suns have
but
9.
You just got DeMarcus Cousins going to the free throw lane.
Okay, right on cue. Right on cue. Thank you. I appreciate that. Right on cue, Mr. Kumar. So both teams are shooting pretty well. Both making 5 3-pointers. Rebounding battle is pretty even. So these teams are pretty evenly matched. So
yeah, evenly matched. But 3-point wise, the first quarter. And a nice floater by Cameron Payne makes it 35-31. As I was saying, Suns is shooting 71% from 3-point. They're 5 of just 7 attempts, whereas it's 5 of 13 for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Yeah. So, DeMarcus Cousins. I'm a little bit behind Mr. Kumar, so I just saw both of DeMarcus Cousins' free throws made. So the Suns bringing it back up court. They had the lead 35-33.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that they're playing, I don't know what you think about this, but 2 point guards at the same time, Cameron Payne and Chris Paul, for extra ball handling on the Suns side.
Yeah, I think that's their plan when, Devin Booker is trying to get some rest. They try to get in 2 point guards there. And, Cameron Payne has kind of proved himself to be a really good scorer, so the scoring doesn't come down. I think that's probably one of the key reasons. And another 3 by Saric.
Wow.
And DeMarcus Cousins attacking the basket, and he goes to the free throw lane again. So he would shoot 2 more. So DeMarcus Cousins redeeming himself, maybe trying to get a better contract next season and probably get a more permanent feature in a championship team or something. And he's really proving his worth here for the Clippers in the absence of Zubats.
He can really do everything. He can score inside, of course. He can pick and pop, play defense, rebound. He brings the toughness, great leader. So great pickup by the Los Angeles Clippers. And yeah, he's a little bit of an upgrade over Zubac. So and the Clippers, I like that they're playing a little bit big this game. They've been playing the small ball, shooting a lot of threes, but now they have a established presence inside, and they're forcing a lot of fouls on the Phoenix Suns. So I like the change of game plan by Tyronn Lue of playing big and playing DeMarcus Cousins in the series.
Yeah, in fact,
he pushed Chris Paul a little bit there.
In fact, actually, they're playing Batum and Cousins together.
Oh, okay.
Saric with another three. So
Man,
2 threes for Saric back to back. So he's 2 of 2, and 2 of 2 from the 3-point line. Makes it an 8-point game again. Almost a turnover for the LA Clippers. Paul George not able to control that, and a wild pass out of bounds for Phoenix Suns.
Man, it's all about turnovers also. Whoever can win the turnover battle is going to win this game. So Clippers need to be a little bit more careful with the ball. Didn't Paul George have like one game, he had like 6 turnovers or something like that, but they still won. So
yeah, I think that last game, although he had like 41 points, he was still. Chris Paul getting the rebound back, offensive rebound. Cameron Payne attacks the basket, and he gets it done. A huge 10-point lead to start the second quarter for the Phoenix Suns. They are hitting up Dario Saric with those 2 back-to-back threes. Chris Paul and Cameron Payne inflicting some pain on the Clippers, and it's 45-35 with about 9 minutes left in this quarter, and I'm sure the Clippers are going to take a timeout and talk about it.
Yeah, the Suns are hotter than the Phoenix desert right now, Mr. Kumar, throwing the ball into the ocean. They cannot miss. I love their ball movement, their player movement, the cutting. They're very active on offense. So great job so far by the Phoenix Suns. Bhushan, good morning to you. He is saying DeMarcus Cousins is in aggressive scoring mode. He is for sure, Bhushan. He's playing really well. We need Paul George to step up a little bit, Mr. Kumar. He needs to get his offensive game going a little bit. But hey, he's more of a second half kind of player. But yeah, major props to the Phoenix Suns. And you could just tell, Mr. Kumar, that they're playing with more sense of urgency. The last game, I thought they felt like, okay, we're at home. The crowd's gonna push us through this game. But now they're playing with a sense of desperation. They're playing hard. They're hustling, getting to every loose ball. They feel like they want this game more, and they're playing harder than the LA Clippers.
Yeah, I think it's there are 2 great coaches, one in Ty Lue and one in Monty Williams, and both are going to make the necessary adjustments in order to win the game. And as you pointed out, Ty Lue is 10-2 in elimination games, and definitely you got to consider him in the top realm of coaches in this league. So yeah, I mean, fun fact: Abdel Nader is only the second ever Egyptian player in the history of the NBA.
He's a good player, Mr. Kumar. He really is. I saw him in college when he was at Iowa State. They were playing. He's a good player. So
I think he's also coming back from an injury, and that's why we haven't seen much of Abdel Nader. But good morning, Bhushan, to you as well, and hopefully you are sipping in some coffee.
Okay. Our producer is asking a question. Bhushan, a question. He's saying, are you going for the other LA team? Yeah. So those of you that don't know, Bhushan is a regular on the show. He's a big Lakers fan like Mr. Kumar. So I'm curious to see who you're going for, Bhushan. And give us a score. Who are you going for to win, Bhushan? And give us the score. And, of course, everybody else, too. So me and Mr. Kumar gave our scores. Mr. Kumar is picking the Suns to make it to the finals. I'm picking the LA Clippers to extend it to a Game 7. So let's see what's going to happen here.
Yeah, and all 4 teams, East and West. I mean, 3 teams have never won a championship, and of course, the Milwaukee have won a championship in the pre-merger era. That is, I think, in 1971.
Before Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
with the before the NBA ABA merger. So It's going to be a very, very interesting finals for sure, because you're going to probably get a new champion being crowned, and even Bhushan thinks it's going to be a Sun and a Hawks final, and
Wow.
I still believe that the Bucks still have something left in the tank in order to overcome this Hawks team, who also don't have the services of, Trey Young. I
They
know
might in
Giannis
game
is,
five. We'll see, Yeah.
but I think the defense of the Milwaukee Bucks can get it done.
But Mr. Kumar, the Hawks even have more weapons. Yes, Holiday's an all-star. Yes, Middleton's an all-star. But the Hawks have more overall weapons. They have a Kongwu. They have Gallinari. They have Herter. They have Bogdanovich. They have Capella. They just have a more balanced scoring attack. So I think the Hawks can now win the series. So yeah, Rakesh, good morning to you, Rakesh. He is saying Paul George has to prove again that he's not playoff piece. Still, he didn't get the rhythm in this game. Well, Rakesh, I'm going to judge him in the third quarter because, as Mr. Kumar knows, that's when he usually turns it up. So let's see if he's playoff P or pandemic P starting in the third quarter. Oh, it's another foul drawn by Marcus.
Yeah, Marcus Morris will go to the line. So this is the fifth and sixth free throw in this particular quarter itself for the Los Angeles Clippers.
And Bhushan's also saying Cam Reddish has been a huge surprise for the Hawks. Yeah, Bhushan, Cam Reddish is a talented player. He just came off of an injury, a long injury. He was a highly talented player. He played with RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson at Duke, and he was a highly rated player. So he has the skills, and he's been playing a key role right now, for the Atlanta Hawks. He's going to have to continue to play well if they want to win this series. So Marcus Morris makes the first free throw, 45-36. And that was the second free throw, excuse me. So the Suns still lead by 9 points with 8:41 left here in the second quarter.
Yeah, and Paul George attacks the basket and makes it a 45-38 game.
That's what I want, Mr. Kumar. That's what I want. Attack the basket, Paul George. Don't settle for threes. Attack the basket. Put your head down and get to the foul line.
And, he's trying to get that switch with Patrick Beverley but at this end, it was Saric who tried to get in, and Marcus Morris draws that foul, and Saric will go to the free throw lane. It didn't look like a foul as much. I think he got most part of it on the ball, but I don't think the Clippers are going to challenge this call. I would still save my timeout and a challenge for a more crucial time probably at the end of the game, if need be. And Suns are 7 of 9 from the 3-point line. Yes, they were shooting 71%.
Oh, that was all ball.
5 of 7, but they're 7 of 9. So they're a little bit hot from the 3-point line. Even with Saric had 2 back-to-back threes. Cameron Payne had 3, and Devin Booker. So it's been a hot stat from the 3-point line for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, they're shooting really well. Yep, key stat, another Clippers commit the first foul in 16 minutes. Suns at the free throw line for the first time, and we are in quarter number 2. So,
yeah, 7 minutes and 40 seconds left. A 6-point lead for the Phoenix Suns. And Devin Booker comes back in. Ayton still getting some rest, and wow! I thought it was a foul on Pat Bev, but no. Batum couldn't get that alley-oop in.
Nice shot by Morris, 46-40. Nice shot on the elbow mid-range shot. Clippers cut it to 6 points.
A rare miss from the 3-point line for the Phoenix Suns by Tony Craig. Devin Booker passed it up. Wow. I mean, either it would have been a jump ball or something on Pat Bev.
Oh, good defensive play by Pat Bev. But as Mr. Kumar said, they could not convert on the alley-oop. Devin Booker brings it back up court. Yep, Craig misses the 3. Who's it out of bounds on? It is Clippers ball, I believe.
Clippers ball, yeah.
Yeah, Clippers ball. They're showing that replay. Oh no, Pat Bev got all ball.
Yeah, but I thought it was more like a jump ball call or something. But
Hey, yeah. Patrick Bev in beast mode. Bhushan is saying he's been in beast mode since game like 4, Mr. Kumar. Or so he's been a big part of the series.
oh well, he's in beast mode right from the start of the season. So I mean, he always gets
And
at you. He's hard on you in defense. Uh, Marcus Morris
he blocked
and gets
LeBron
it,
James. I know you remember
and
that when he
it's a
blocked him.
3-point game. 3-point game for the Phoenix Suns. Marcus Morris connects that three. Paul George, that's experience. Whenever you need a basket, you just give the Paul George the ball, and he knows exactly what to do. Make the right choices, pass the ball, or that elbow jumper that he's like almost 100%.
He's a
Pat
walking
Bev,
bucket.
Pat Bev gets it, and he's on Chris Paul's face.
He is. He doesn't back down from anybody. Yeah, Paul George is a walking bucket, Mr. Kumar. And Patrick Beverley is just nasty. He just brings it to you. He brings that energy. He wants to smoke. So Pat Bev has what a great game he's played so far. And it is 48.
Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes I know that's his style of play. That's how he is. That's how he has as a person on the court. But sometimes, he just gets too excited, too overexcited, And those are times when he needs to probably calm himself down, or his teammate needs to tell him to calm down in terms of trying to control and not, commit turnovers or mistakes. But,
I love it.
but he gives you 100% on the court every time. And, he is charged up. He will be on, the defense phase, and he'll bother you. I mean, he'll bother you to the extent of irritating you. That's how he plays on defense.
Yeah, he's like that gnat that wouldn't stop coming after you. You keep shooing it away. It keeps bothering you. He's definitely that gnat on defense. I think you're exactly right. But Mr. Kumar, he's showing me in this series, he has some finesse on offense. Did you just see that crossover on Chris Paul? The between the legs, nice crossover, faked him out. He can make the three, get to the basket. So he has a little bit of offensive game that I did not think he had in his arsenal. He's showing that he has the full kit on the offensive end on the floor. He's not just a defender.
Yeah, they're looking at a flagrant.
That's not a flagrant. I don't. Well, who was it on? I wasn't paying attention. Who were they?
Crowder on Batum.
What happened? Let's see. I'm watching the replay here. Crowder misses the three. Okay. Clippers get the rebound. Oh, we're just blowing up the court.
And he trips up Nick Batum.
He just trips him up. Oh, okay. I gotcha. Maybe that was a foul, though, on Nick Batum that they missed on the jump shot of Jay Crowder, but no call.
And I think Batum will shoot 2 free throws because the Phoenix are over the foul limit.
I think they called a flagrant one.
No, common foul and 2 free throws for Batum. So, but that's a chance for them to cut the lead back to 1. So a good run by the Clippers to be on top of it. They were down by 10 at the 9-minute mark. So in the last 3 minutes, they've had a good run to cut the lead back to 1.
Yeah.
And Ayton comes back in for Saric.
Nothing malicious there. Yeah. Clippers are already in the bonus. So let's see, if they can continue to get to the foul line, get points while the clock is stopped, while the Suns defense is not set. So that's going to be key for the Clippers. But making their free throws, Mr. Kumar, game 2 and game 4, they cost themselves because they missed free throws. Otherwise, the Clippers probably already would have won the series, if they won games, 2 and 4. So they need to convert at the free throw line. That's going to be the key to winning this game.
Yeah, another 3 attempt by Pat Bev from the corner. He misses. Rebound by Crowder, but a foul there while rebounding on Terrence Mann, and the ball will roll back to the Phoenix Suns for an out of bounds throw. And the lead is still by one for Phoenix Suns, 48-47 with 5 minutes and 39 seconds left in this half. I don't really like Chris Paul, jacking up those threes. He's not been really good from the three in this particular series.
Yeah.
And Pat Bev going hard at Chris Paul, and a foul has been called on him.
No, but I wanted to touch on your point about Chris Paul not shooting a lot or not making a lot of threes. I agree with you. They need to put him in more pick and rolls. We know that his game is that mid-range jumper, that 10 to 12-foot jumper. That's where he's money or getting to the basket. So I agree with you, Mr. Kumar. And ladies and gentlemen, those of you that are just watching me and Mr. Kumar for the first time, we do not agree a lot. So, at least we can agree on something here. Both of us don't have a stake in this game. My team isn't playing. Of course, Mr. Kumar's team is not playing. So we're just watching as NBA fans tonight, Mr. Kumar.
Pardon me?
We're just watching as NBA fans. We don't really have a stake. These aren't one of our teams, Yeah,
I think, as I pointed out, we're going to get a new champion. And probably one of those few teams left.
Oh! Ooh. Go ahead. Nice dunk by Booker.
Yeah, a few teams left in this who really were probably expected to go a little bit further than as expected is probably the Los Angeles Clippers. Nobody gave too much chance to the Bucks or the Hawks or the Phoenix Suns. Reggie Jackson with that three-point play will tie the ball game at 50 all with 5 minutes left. But as I was saying, the LA Clippers were probably expected to be in the conference finals, as even you had predicted. But Jay Crowder with a three from the corner and makes it a 3-point ball game. Apart from the Clippers, I think nobody expected the other three teams to be this far in this competition.
100% agree. And even the Clippers, after Kawhi went down, they weren't expected to beat the Suns here. So great performance by the Clippers. Paul George.
They weren't expected to win. Win against Utah Jazz after
or Dallas.
Kawhi Leonard went down.
Or Dallas, exactly, when they had Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, no, that's right. But hey, they haven't showed Kawhi Leonard, so I don't know if he's at the game or not. Is he in the suite, or is he actually on the sideline? So we'll see. But yeah, 53-50 with 4:05 left.
And another trip to the lane for Pat Bev this time. So a lot of free throw attempts for the Los Angeles Clippers, which is bringing them back into this game.
Yeah, they're getting points off of just getting to the line. They're not shooting the best from the field. They're struggling a little bit, but hey, they're manufacturing offense to the free throw line. That's what you have to do, Mr. Kumar, until you get hot. And I love that attack. And Crowder felt like he went straight up. He may have went straight up, Mr. Kumar, but nevertheless, it is a foul on Jay Crowder, sending Pat Bev to the line.
But once again, folks, if you have tuned in, here's your chance. I know we're not doing a contest or something today, but you can still predict the score line and who's going to win this Game 6 tonight with the Suns and the Clippers. So, let's have fun while we are watching this game. Devin Booker with that elbow, 2 points and a foul once again on Pat Bev. So he will go for a 3-point play, and the lead is back to 3.
Yeah, in this series, they're showing a graphic. In game 1, Pat Bev was a -5. In the rest of the games, he was like a plus 20-something. So that just shows you the impact of Patrick Beverley. And I like it, Ekalavi. That's a point on comment. He's saying, love how Beverley looks shocked every time he's called for a foul. And hey, but that's like every NBA player, Mr. Kumar. They're like, what? I know I fouled. Like, no NBA player ever thinks they fouled. So it's pretty comical. But Devin Booker converts on the 3-point play, 56-52 Phoenix Suns. And Devin Booker got to a spot of a screen from DeAndre Ayton with a nice 15-foot jump shot, drawing the foul on Patrick Beverley. Devin Booker with bless you, Mr. Kumar. 14 points, 6 of 9 shooting from the field. Devin Booker.
And another turnover here for Paul, with a turnover there for a 24-second violation. And here on the offense, on the defensive rebound, they were unable to collect that ball, and the ball will turn over back to Phoenix Suns. So a little bit sloppy play by the Clippers the last 2 plays.
They ratcheted up the defense a little bit. The Phoenix Suns have. Their rotations have been on point. They're getting deflection.
Good pass by Cameron Payne to Jay Crowder, cutting inside, and he banks it, makes it a 6-point game again.
Yeah. And the Suns have ratcheted up the defense for sure. Their on-ball defense has been excellent, getting deflections, causing turnovers, getting the Clippers out of their offense. So if the Suns are clicking right now on all cylinders on the defensive end of the floor, and that's why they have this 58-52 lead.
And that's a loose ball foul on Terrence Mann, and the ball will probably go to Phoenix Suns, and if they're above the bonus, Jay Crowder will shoot 2 free throws. The timeout taken here. The Suns lead by 6, 2 minutes and 51 seconds left in this quarter. Suns, Devin Booker has been the top scorer with 11, and Beverly and Reggie Jackson are on 11 as well. Paul George has still not really made a dent, in the scoring category. He's still
hey, wait till the second half. We'll see.
It's kind of they're playing good defense on him, and they're not like really trying to get those switches. And he's been guarded either by Devin Booker or Mikal Bridges, constantly. So I think that's what is causing some problems. So let's hope that he becomes playoff P in the third quarter for the Clippers. But right now, it's Suns by 6.
Yeah, and some team stats here. The Suns are shooting a blistering 58% from the field compared to 47% from the Clippers. The Suns have made 8 threes compared to the Clippers only 6. The free throw line has been a huge disparity right now. 10 of 11 for the Clippers, then 2 of 3 for the Phoenix Suns. But the Suns have 15 assists to only 8 for the Clippers. And then turnovers, Mr. Kumar, 4 turnovers for the Suns, 3 turnovers for the Clippers. And the Clippers are also, or the Suns, are also lead in the points in the paint. So yeah, as we are in the commercial, as Mr. Kumar said, the Suns are leading this game right now. So as we're getting closer to the half, but Mr. Kumar, I want to talk about the coaching hires. So of course we know there's like a lot of coaching opening positions so far, in the NBA. This offseason, a couple of them have already been filled. Ime Udoka, former Spurs assistant, is with the Boston, Celtics. Rick Carlisle lands with the Indiana Pacers, and Chauncey Billups goes to the Portland Trailblazers, Mr. Kumar, who there's some rumors whether Dame wants out or not. There was a rumor that Dame did want out because he didn't like the direction that the team was going and then the new coach. But the Dame refuted that, saying that he wants to be with the Portland Trailblazers. So what do you think about these new coaching hires so far, Mr. Kumar? And then the Dame drama. I think Dame's ultimately going to stay with the Blazers. I wouldn't be surprised if he leaves, but I think he's a loyal guy. And if he likes what they're doing, the right direction of the team, get some free agents, because right now that, they really haven't been out of the conference finals since a couple years ago. So it's going to be interesting to see if the Blazers are able to keep, Damian Lillard.
In all likelihood, I think he'll stay in Portland. I don't really expect him to probably get a trade in. And even if he does get a trade, it's going to be a very difficult proposition for any team to get like a max player unless and until you kind of give a lot of your assets, for a player like Lillard. So it's a tough choice, but I think it's a good hire. But Chauncey Billups, again, not much experience coaching wise. He's an assistant coach with Ty Lue here at the Clippers, and he's a first-time head coach as well, but at least a 1 year, 1 year experience as an assistant coach, assisting Ty Lue. So at least he's a little bit better than Steve Nash, who has probably no
Oh,
experience.
no, you're right about that for sure. But one other point before we get back to the game, one other coaching hire I missed was Jason Kidd to the Dallas Mavericks, Mr. Kumar, and they got a new president of basketball operations. They promoted Nike executive Nico Harrison, so some changes in Dallas there. But let's go ahead with the rest of the game. Mr. Kumar is a little bit ahead of us, so I'll let him talk about some of the action that's been taking place since we came back.
Yeah, it was an 8-point game, which has been cut back to 6 by Marcus Morris, who just shot from just behind the free throw lane with Ayton guarding him. So 60-54 with 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Cameron Payne here trying to get inside, but it's another defensive rebound that has been overturned, and the ball goes out of bounds back to.
And Luke Kennard comes into the game. I thought this was a little bit late to bring him in. He's been shooting really well, from 3 this series. So he's been instant offense off the bench. So let's see if he can heat up. He's checking in for the first time in this game.
Yeah, but it looks like the ball did come off. Ayton, but they won't overturn that. Jay Crowder with another 3 makes it a 9-point game. So they're going back and forth with those leads. It was the Clippers that cut it back to 1, but the lead is back to 9.
Yep. And I wondered, hey, Shahid, welcome to the P&K watch party. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining. And Bhushan saying Jerry Crowder is a rowdy Rathor. I know Mr. Kumar would appreciate that reference. And Bhushan, exactly. Jason Kidd will be coaching Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks. Of course, Luka Doncic right now is playing for the Slovenia national team as they try to get their bid for the Olympics. And did you see his quote today? He said that, hey, he's not getting those superstar calls at FIBA, just like he's not getting those superstar calls at the NBA. I thought that was pretty funny there. Hey,
right now,
go ahead. Right
now, another offensive rebound for Phoenix Suns and a foul on Pat Bev. That may be his 3rd foul, and it'll be 2 free throws for Ayton. But while we're at it, Slovenia just won against Angola, their first qualifying game, 118-68. That was the score. And it
was a blowout.
I think there are like 4 Olympic qualifying tournaments happening. One in Canada,
Croatia, and Canada.
Yeah, and I think the winners of all these tournaments will get a chance to play in the Tokyo Olympics, which starts from the 23rd of July.
Yeah, for sure. And Shahid, hey, thank you again for joining. Hey, put your score. Who do you think is going to win this game? And put your score margin. We want to hear from you, Shahid. So thank you for tuning in to this episode. And I wanted to answer Eklavias's question. He was asking, DeAndre Ayton's the most underrated big man. I don't know what Mr. Kumar thinks about this, but I think he's a top 5 big man in the league. He's proving it right now. He can both score inside. He has that little jump shot. He can block shots. He sets great picks. He has a nice jump hook. He has it all. He's very skilled, Mr. Kumar. He was a number 1 overall pick, over Luka Doncic, of course. And I think he's playing like it. He's playing with a lot of confidence. Chris Paul has instilled that confidence in him, and he's playing really well. And like I said earlier, he's the X factor for this Phoenix Suns team. When he plays well, I think the Suns are able to put it all together and to win. And another underlying storyline from this playoffs is the performance of DeAndre Ayton and Trae Young, 2 players who were vilified for being taken ahead of Luka Doncic. But hey, Mr. Kumar, they're still playing while Luka Doncic is playing for Slovenia.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're talking about Ayton, I mean, this is the first time he's got a really big opportunity to play in the postseason, right? I mean, since the time he got drafted, since Devin Booker got drafted, the Phoenix ones were like lying in the doldrums. They didn't even qualify for the playoffs. Now I think this is a trip to the playoffs in like 9 years or something. And, so, so this is the right platform for somebody like DeAndre Ayton. And he's showing what kind of improved player that he is, and his stock is gonna rise up after this postseason, and people are going to take him seriously. But yeah, I mean, he is he's kind of that one of those really good big mans that is currently playing in the game, and well, he's young and he has a lot of room for improvement. So his game is only going to get better. But this time he's in the free throw lane, misses the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, he did miss the first one, but yeah, he's only he's only 22 years old. Devin Booker's only 24. Mikal Bridges and Cameron Payne are like 23. So Chris Paul is like the oldest person on that Suns team. So there are a lot of young, inexperienced players, but they're really stepping up.
And misses the second one as well. So it still remains 6-point game, 63-57, with a minute left in this half. Chris Paul comes back in and he's guarding Paul George. Paul George and Chris Paul. Paul George and Chris Paul. Reggie Jackson, way off, just manages to hit the rim, and he misses that one. And Chris Paul would take it slow to end this first half, but there'll be another chance for the Clippers to get back into the game.
Yeah. Oh, and Bhushan is saying Becky Hammond's on her way to becoming the first women head coach in the NBA. Yeah, no, Mr. Kumar, she got a second.
Crowder three makes it a 9-point game. Yeah, please carry on.
No, no, of course. We're just trying to, as the game is going on, just wanted to talk to this comment, but thank you. It was a big play by Jay Crowder for sure, Mr. Kumar. But yeah, Becky Hammond got her second, interview round with the, Portland Trailblazers. Unfortunately, she didn't get hired by them, but they hired, Chauncey Billups. But I think she's going to be a head coach in no time. Either she's going to get another position before, or she's going to take over, when Greg Popovich, retires.
Sorry. So 9-point game at the half. Phoenix Suns will be happier with this result in the first 24 minutes, but they got to defend for the next 24 minutes, and we'll see what happens, whether the Clippers are able to make a comeback or it's going to be Suns all the way, and they make their maiden trip to the NBA Finals. So
yeah,
stay tuned for the second half. So continue with the discussion on Becky Hammond. Yes.
No, of course. No, I pretty much said everything I wanted to say. That she thinks she's going to get a head coaching opportunity either with another team, or she's going to take over maybe in 2 to 3 years when Greg Popovich retires. So, but Jay, she's getting a lot of exposure, which is really awesome. But yeah, back to the game. The Phoenix Suns, a key for them is to make the Clippers press, make this a close game in the fourth quarter, make them press, make them feel the pressure, rather than letting the Clippers front run and have a lead. So I think they're putting the right amount of pressure on this Clippers team, forcing them to execute on both ends of the floor in the second half. Make Paul George beat them, make them play out of character. So the Suns have definitely had the right game plan. And right now, if they do play the same way that they played in the first half, I think they'll come out on top and win the finals. So, or go to the finals, I should say. So some first half stats. The Phoenix Suns have 17 assists, 4 players in double digits. They're shooting 55% from the field. Jay Crowder has 16 points, Mr. Kumar. So it's a great all-around effort by the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, I mean, and in a surprising turn of events, Marcus Morris is the highest scorer for the Clippers, with Beverly and Jackson at 11. So far, Paul George is just 3 of 8, and he's 0 of 3 from the three-point line. He's not been through the free throw lane. So that just shows that he's not been really aggressive like in Game 5. trying to attack the basket, get to the free throw lane. I mean, you're not really seeing that side of Paul George yet. And hopefully for the Clippers, he's able to turn back the clock a bit and
They
get
need him
back to playoff P mode.
to.
And I mean, this is like redemption for him, right? I mean, um, he's kind of, I mean, always the player who's either you get way off P or playoff P. We don't know that. It's like a 50-50 chance. And of course, you get scrutinized because you're an all-star and all those things. He himself told in the press conference that he's probably scrutinized by the media more often than not.
But he deserved
So
it. He's the one that in 2018 said, "Call me playoff P." But go ahead, I digress. Go ahead, Mr. Kamal.
yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, that's where I was coming to. I mean, if you name yourself as playoff P, that's the kind of scrutiny that you're gonna get. So
Yep.
here's an opportunity for him, especially with Kawhi Leonard injured. He has to take the mantle. He has to take that responsibility.
Yeah, no, he has for sure. I think you make all great points there. Nothing else for me to add on that. Yeah, but he's already helped himself a little bit with his legacy by scoring a couple 40-point games and leading the Clippers this far. But if he wants to take it to the next level, then he needs to win the series and lead a championship without Kawhi Leonard. Then he'll not get that banter and backlash that he's been getting, for those repeat playoff performances. Like he had some stinkers, when he was with the Pacers against the Heat. When he was with Oklahoma City against the Jazz. He's had some really poor playoff series and playoff games. So he's either going to be pandemic P or is he going to be playoff P? Or as Mr. Kumar said, he has a little name for him, way off P, which I like. That's clever. That's clever, Mr. Kumar. I'll give you that. Or playoff P. We'll see with that. But some team stats here. The Suns are shooting 55% from the field with 10 3-pointers. They're hotter than the Phoenix Desert, as I said a little bit earlier. The Clippers have the advantage from the free throw line, but the Suns have the rebounding advantage, which is key. The advantage with the assist, with 17 assists right now. So the Suns are putting overall a great team effort, Mr. Kumar. And I'm going to take a little break here. Mr. Kumar will give his analysis of the second half.
Why don't we both take a short break because
Okay.
it's half time. Maybe we just put the scoreboard on the screen, but we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So,
but really quick,
thank you.
Fonzie, what's up? Thank you. All right, so I am back here. Mr. Patel is back. I'm waiting for Mr. Kumar to come back, but let me carry on. For we are at halftime again, 66-57. The Phoenix Suns are leading. Hey, Fozzie, wanted to give you a shout out. Thank you for joining this live watch party. I hope you're enjoying the game so far. I want to hear from you, Fozzie. Who do you think is going to win tonight? And give me a score margin by how much. So thank you, Fozzie, again for tuning in as right now we have a pretty competitive game here right now, so with the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers. Again, can the Phoenix Suns make it to the NBA Finals, or will the LA Clippers force a Game 7? And Ekalavias is saying, right, to compare Paul George to Scottie Pippen with Kawhi being the MJ. Well, it's fair a little bit, but I think Paul George has a little bit more offensive game than Scottie Pippen. Ekalavias, he has more takeover ability. He's more of a 1A. Scottie Pippen is more of a Robin than a Batman. I think Paul George showed that he can, be a Batman. So I think that Paul George is a little bit better of an all-around player. Defense, they're the same, but on offense, I think Paul George has more skills and he has more in his bag offensively, shooting the three, going to the basket, shooting the mid-range. And he showed his takeover ability where Scottie, without Michael, really struggled. I know, when he was with the Blazers and the Rockets, he had a chance to make it to the NBA Finals, but couldn't make it over the hump. So I think it's fair. You make a good point, but I think Scottie Pippen is a little bit better of an all-around player. But hey, but good question, Ekalavias, for sure. So yeah, we are at halftime here, and let's talk about the Olympic qualifiers. So, there's been some Olympic qualifying games going on right now, as we are heading into the Tokyo Olympics and, starting July 23rd. So there's qualifying games going on in Serbia, Lithuania, Canada, and Croatia. And some notable NBA players that are, playing in this are, of course, Luka Doncic playing for Slovenia, Domantas Sabonis playing for Lithuania, Boban Marjanovic playing for Serbia, Andrew Wiggins playing for Canada, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, RJ Barrett, so Thomas Sadorinsky playing for Czech Republic. So right now, Canada did win their game 109-79 against, China. And then I believe Slovenia also won their game earlier today. So Slovenia has been doing really well under Luka Doncic. So yes, and whatever those four teams that come out of that qualifying regional are going to be in the Olympics. So that's going to be, pretty huge, for those teams to be the opportunity to be able to, play in the Olympics, such a big stage. Yeah, Slovenia won 118-68 against Angola. So let's see what's going to happen. Of course, we know the USA team, it's pretty much already said there's some great NBA superstars, True Holiday, Chris Middleton, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant. So, they're going to be starting their action pretty soon, here. They're going to be starting their training camp. So let's see what's going to happen, in the Summer Olympics. Lots to look forward to, for sure. And Edris, welcome. Thank you for joining this live watch party with me and Mr. Kumar. And, give us, your team that's going to win, who you predict is going to win tonight and by how much. So thank you again, Edris, for joining. And again, everybody, continue to put your comments in the chat section below, and we will feature them live on the show. We're having a great time. The Clippers, just a quick little stat, are shooting 91% from the free throw line to the Suns 57%. So, so hot shooting right now for the Clippers. And as Mr. Kumar perfectly said there, that's what's keeping them in the game right now, free throws, because the Suns are shooting better from three. They're shooting better overall field goal percentage, shooting better from the paint. Suns have pretty much dominated all categories. So Clippers really need to step it up and, play a lot better, execute on both ends of the floor if they want any chance of forcing a Game 7 back at the Valley this weekend.
Yeah, it's a make or break game for Clippers. I mean, they really have to get going, or else, it's the end of the season for them. And it's going to be a very disappointing season because, I mean, they probably expected to, go all the way. And this would have been one of the greatest chances for them to win a championship as well. With Kawhi Leonard injured, and I think Kawhi Leonard, I mean, there are rumors that he's not really happy with the Clippers. But
The medical staff.
sometimes,
Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes you have all these speculations going on, especially when the team is doing, I mean, worse than what they were expected to do, and so. But I just don't see Kawhi Leonard going anywhere else. Steve Ballmer, the owner, would really be is an owner who's willing to spend money, and I'm sure they would be right there. That's Dario Saric is there, and that's
Yeah. So
a
we're
little
showing
bit
some
of the
first half
highlights.
highlights. Yeah, so yeah, Cameron Payne, we saw that nice attack to the basket. He's made some nice little plays here and there, So Paul George with the nice drive to the basket. So yeah, those are some first half highlights. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard, he has a player option right now, Mr. Kumar, but I don't see him going any other place besides the Clippers. Where is he going to go to? Miami, the Knicks? Because the Knicks have like the most amount of cap space this summer. But yeah, what Mr. Kumar was alluding
Well, I know, but there's also speculation that he's looking at the Lakers. I'm really surprised by that.
what?
But yeah, but I mean, I'm really surprised by that line of speculation going on. But I just don't really see him
I don't
ending
either.
up as a Laker.
No. I don't think so either. But yeah, what Mr. Kumar was saying, I'll give you a little bit of back history. So, of course, we know Kawhi Leonard was, has the knee injury, but he thought that, the Clippers medical staff missed it a little bit earlier and they misdiagnosed the injury. So he of course, he has his own doctors, and he's been out. Nobody really knows the severity of the injury or where exactly that injury took place, whether there's any structural damage or anything. He's been, in the suite, during the games, doing his rehab. There's still little questions about whether he's going to come back or not this series. I don't know about what Mr. Kumar thinks, but I personally don't think he's going to return this series. Do you think you see him coming back this series of the playoffs, Mr. Kumar?
Uh, well, I don't think so. I mean,
Yeah.
I think, I mean, as being speculated in the media, they feel that it's more like an ACL tear. And so you saw him in the stands the other day, watching the game with his family. Yeah, but I mean, that's just kind of lame. I think as a player, if you are like, I mean, you can pretty much be on the bench, support your team from the bench, and that's what most injured players do. Trae Young was seen dancing yesterday,
Yeah, on a bad knee or on a bad ankle, excuse me.
on a
Yeah,
bad ankle. Yeah,
exactly. But Mr. Kumar, at least he showed up when he did this whole shenanigans with the Spurs. He didn't even go to the game. So at least Kawhi Leonard's at the Staples Center. But there's some reports, Mr. Kumar, I know you've seen this, that he's distancing himself a little bit with the Clippers. So we'll see. But hey, that's for speculation for the offseason. Me and Mr. Kumar will discuss this at length. But let's get back to the game, Mr. Kumar. I believe the second half is starting very soon.
Yeah, the second half is starting. Paul George, again, a huge ask of Paul George. He has to be better. He has to be attacking if this Clippers need to win this ball game, because it's a 9-point game at the half. So Suns Clippers, I mean, it was 33-29 in, I mean, the first quarter scoring for the Suns and Clippers, and 33-28. So a 9-point lead here to start. And Paul George gets a foul immediately, right in the first few seconds.
I like it. Attacking the basket, putting your head down. When you're struggling, Mr. Kumar, like get to the free throw line, see the ball go through the net, and that'll get you confidence. So I like that mentality by Paul George coming out of the locker room.
Yeah. So probably giving the ball to Paul George.
It was a little bit of a questionable call, but hey, he got to the foul line nevertheless. So Monty Williams doesn't seem like he agrees with the foul. Looks like he slipped more than he was pushed, but he's 3 of 8 with 6 points from the field. So it's been a struggle for Paul George.
So Monty Williams.
No, it wasn't a shooting foul. My bad. It was not a shooting foul. So let's see. So Paul George. Oh, I saw the first foul. He drew another foul, and this was a shooting foul. So it was on Mikal Bridges, I
Yeah,
believe.
but Monty Williams challenges this play.
Oh, okay. No, he clearly hit him on the elbow, and then the shooting hand. It was a good call by the refs.
Yeah, but just to talk about, I saw Rondo on the bench there, but he was expected to
playoff Rondo.
He was expected to play a major role in this postseason, but he has not been that effective for the Clippers. He got traded from the Atlanta Hawks, just during trade deadline, and to shore up that backcourt for the Clippers. But he's not been playing too many minutes, at least in this particular series, and as well as the previous series. He did play a role in the series against the Mavericks for the Clippers, but the last two series, he has been a no-show.
Yeah, but Terrence Mann has taken his minutes after that big performance against Utah. Terrence Mann is just a younger, better overall point guard. He has more size to him. Patrick Beverley has also taken his minutes at the guard spot with his defense, ability. So, yeah, that's Rondo is not playing right now. Currently, he's like the fourth or fifth guard off the bench, so they're rolling with Terrence Mann and Patrick Beverley. And so far, it's worked, Mr. Kumar. But I don't expect to see Rondo this game, or maybe even the rest of the series, unless those guys get into foul trouble. He's just been overpassed by both of those guys.
Yeah, and Reggie Jackson has taken up.
Yeah, and Reggie Jackson.
Mantle of the scoring, and he's been one of the top scorers for the Clippers. And, he's had some phenomenal plays at crucial times for the Clippers in order to bring them back into even the previous two series, as well as this series.
Yeah. Reggie Jackson has been unbelievable. We all knew his scoring ability. In OKC, we saw it, coming off the bench. But then he went to a situation in Detroit where, he wasn't getting the minutes. And even if you remember last year, Mr. Kumar, in the bubble, he did not play at all. He was a DNP a lot of these games, but now he's showing it. He's showing his scoring ability. He can get hot. He's been their closer. When Paul George struggles in the fourth quarter, the Clippers run their offense through, Reggie Jackson. So he's been a very effective player for the Clippers, and he's going to get overpaid, and he's going to get a big contract next year, whether it's going to be with the Clippers or it's going to be another team. So he's definitely earned himself a lot of money, this postseason.
Yeah, and in the other side of town, Dennis Schroeder is expecting a payoff of $100 to $120 million. And I don't know whether he'll still be a Laker after the July 1st. Does it start today? No, I think it's
got pushed back a little bit. Free agency you're talking about, right?
Yeah, free agency. Yeah.
Let me look it up, but go ahead, continue.
So, but they did not overturn that call, and Paul George did go to the free throw line and make the first one.
Just a quick note, Mr. Kumar, free agency will begin August 2nd at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So about a month away, got pushed back a little bit. Again, the NBA season dates, the training camp starts September 28th, and next season starts, October 22nd. 19th, okay. 19th, and the draft is in late July, so everything got pushed back a little bit. But they did not overturn that call, and Paul George makes the first free throw.
Ooh, a rare miss for Devin Booker from inside the paint. It's an 8-point game so far, and a foul here on Chris Paul, and Reggie Jackson will go to the line.
Paul cannot miss that free throw.
Yeah, he just shot. Was it a three free throws or two free throws?
I believe it was two free throws.
Yeah, but he did miss the last free throw. And it's an 8-point game, 66-58.
Okay, yeah.
So Kawhi Leonard in the bench this time.
Oh, he is. Okay. They haven't showed him yet on my TV, but okay, good for him. Of course, Mr. Kumar is watching on Star Sports. Mr. Kumar, we talked about it a little bit earlier that Star Sports is broadcasting all the playoff games there in India. So that's great, for the Indian audience to be able to enjoy these playoffs because it's been a great playoffs. I know the stars are out, the Kevin Durant's, LeBron James, the Stephen Curry's, but it's been the new generation, the new blood, and it's been a very interesting playoff so far. We've had some great games. Nets Bucks game 7, Hawks Sixers was a great games. There's been a ton of great games here in this NBA playoff so far, and I'm glad the Indian audience is able to enjoy it on Star Sports.
A turnover here for the Clippers after a bad shot by Devin Booker from 3, did not even hit the rim, but they lose the ball. Pat Bev loses that ball and turns it over to the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah. And Ekalavias, I'm with you. Let's go Clippers. Give us a game 7. I'm hoping for both game 7s, Mr. Kumar. Both series to go 7. Cross the fingers.
A good block here by DeAndre Ayton, but the ball is won by Reggie Jackson. Morris gets the ball. Oh, nice up and under for Morris. And he cuts the lead back to 6.
Hey, that might get him going, Mr. Kumar. He's been struggling in the first half. So let's see if that gets his confidence going. See if Morris can heat up.
Well, I mean, he was the top scorer. He's got Crowder. Makes it another 3. Takes it back to 9.
What is it with Jay Crowder in the playoffs? Last year he was, with the Heat. He was with LeBron all those years, and now he's doing good things with the Phoenix Suns.
He's always been that scratchy player. I mean, he was with the Utah Jazz. Then he went to Boston Celtics. Then he got traded for Kyrie Irving to Cleveland, and he played with LeBron in his final year with Cleveland, and then. I think then he moved to Miami Heat, and now he's with the Phoenix Suns. So he's like a role player, but a good role player as such, and good on defense as well.
3-and-D type of player, yeah.
Yeah, 3-and-D type of player. So Paul George going to the line again.
Okay.
This time a foul on Jay Crowder, and this time he makes both those free throws.
There you go. Paul, that's what we need from Paul George. He's going to have to take over, Mr. Kumar, put the team on his back, and try to carry the Clippers to a win because they're going to need Paul George to play like he did in Game 5 where he scored 41 points. If they want any chance of coming back and winning this game. And yeah, the series they're showing a stat. Jay Crowder shot 27% from the series from 3, but now he's shooting like 40% from 3 in this game. So Jay Crowder definitely heating up. It is 71-64. Phoenix Suns with 9:30 left to play in the third quarter.
Ayton is grabbed by Reggie Jackson, and don't know whether it's going to be a shooting foul, but a mismatch right there, and Reggie Jackson had no choice but to foul on DeAndre Ayton, or else he would have eaten him up.
Barbecue chicken, as Shaq would say.
Yeah, as I rightly said, not a shooting foul. DeAndre Ayton inside, and he makes it count this time. A nice lob pass by Chris Paul. Terrence Mann, Marcus Morris, back to Terrence Mann. Terrence Mann hits that 3. And he misses again. A 9-point game. Chris Paul with the ball. 8 minutes and 39 seconds left for the third period. Chris Paul, elbow jumper. A miss. And rebound by Paul George.
That's usually his spot. He's money in that spot, Chris Paul. But hey, unfortunately, good thing for the Clippers, he missed. But he's been playing well this game.
Crowder with another foul on Terrence Mann this time, and Terrence Mann trying to beat him and get inside, but he will go to the free throw lane. So a lot of free throws coming up for the Clippers in this period, and that's his fourth personal foul on Jay Crowder. So he will go back to the bench.
Yeah, that's good for the Clippers that they got Jay Crowder in foul trouble because he's been burning him offensively and defensively as well. And it looked like, that was he got, some ball there, but he must have got some hand also.
A little bit of the hand. Yeah, it did get a little bit of the hand. And, that's no way that's going to be overturned, even if the challenge is on. But I think Monty Williams has exhausted his challenge.
Oh, that's a foul for sure. Yeah.
And Terrence Mann misses the first free throw.
Man, what happened, Mr. Kumar? I guess I jinxed them. They only missed one free throw coming into this third quarter. Now they missed like 3. So Clippers, make your free throws or you're going to be going home.
8-point game.
Okay. But good drive, though, by Terrence Mann on Jay Crowder, and I like how hard he was going to the basket to be able to draw the foul. So great play, and we need more of that. Clippers need to stop settling for threes and start driving to the hole and drawing fouls and getting to the lane. Get some easy, high percentage shots.
Mikal Bridges somehow managed to get that in. Foul and a 3-point play, and a lead is back to 10. It can be 11, probably the highest lead for the Phoenix Suns in this game.
Yeah, free throws right now. Clippers 16 for 19 from the free throw line. Phoenix Suns 4 of 7. So Clippers are getting there more often, but they're not converting. But yeah, that was an acrobatic shot by Mikal Bridges. Reggie Jackson tried to draw the charge, but Mikal finishes. The 3-point play, 76-65, Phoenix Suns. And they're comfortable in this building, Mr. Kumar, because I know you remember they beat the Lakers in Game 6 in the same building. So, they like playing in Staples Center, the bright lights of LA.
Paul George with that nice turnaround jumper from inside the paint makes it 11 points for Paul George. He's 4 of 9 with 7 rebounds to go along with. Paul George gets the switch. DeAndre Ayton inside. A nice right hook, but no. Offensive read on Tony Craig. Mikal Bridges. And floats it up. Chris Paul with a nice floater. He's got 14. He's
largest lead of the game, 78-67. 7:04 left to play in the third quarter.
Hey, you can never write these. Nice slam by Devin Booker. Makes it a 13-point game for the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, man.
Hey, but any lead is a small lead for the Clippers. They have come back from a 16-point lead against the Utah Jazz. They've come back from a 24-point lead against the Utah Jazz. And I believe, they also came back in Game 5, I think, or Game 4. Sorry. But, it was, they have come back from huge leads against the Mavericks, against the Jazz.
Yeah.
So you cannot count them out. The Clippers can come back. But can the Suns hold them off? That's the big question.
And we'll know in just a few minutes because Chris Paul said, hey, the Clippers, them boys fight. They go down swinging. They play hard. They play with edge. They play with energy. And Devin Booker with a lion roar there. You saw his veins popping out, Mr. Kumar. What a ferocious jam. But yeah, the Clippers, you cannot count them out, but they're showing no life. They're not making shots. Marcus Morris is struggling. Paul George needs to be more aggressive. Terrence Mann needs to step up. Reggie Jackson. So you need the other role players to play well and to hit shots for the Clippers. They're just missing shots, and they need to step up on the offensive end of the floor if they want any chance of coming back on this game because the Suns, they don't look like they're cooling down at all on the offensive end of the floor. I love their execution. I love that their ball movement, their player movement, they're getting wide open shots. They're getting great looks. They're running their sets. So the Clippers need to play better defense and to make shots on the offensive end of the floor, drive to the basket, put some pressure on this Phoenix Suns team, or the Clippers are going to be going home early.
The way it looks, the Suns are heating it up. And
Clippers are cooling down. That's what it looks like.
Clippers haven't really hit big shots this particular quarter. Marcus Morris just missed a 3. Terrence Mann has been not really good. He missed a three. Paul George, he missed some free throws. So it's all going wrong for the Clippers this particular quarter, and the lead has surged to 13 points. With about 7 minutes left, but still, I mean, a long way to go. But I just don't feel the Suns are like the Utah Jazz and the
They're not.
Mavericks
They're not.
to let go of such a big lead, because defensively they're better, offensively they're better, especially with Chris Paul on the floor, and even Cameron Payne has taken a huge load off Chris Paul. He's been scoring with a very high percentage, so it's it's going to be a very, very difficult proposition for the Clippers if they need to make a comeback, and if they need to win this game, they need to make a comeback this particular quarter. So as Ekalavius points out, it's a balanced scoring. 5 Clippers players in double digits. Yes, 5 Clippers players,
But they're struggling,
still,
though. They're struggling.
yeah, they're shooting only about 44% from the field and 30% from the 3-point line, whereas it's 55% for Phoenix Suns, both from the field and from the 3-point line, and that's been the biggest difference in this ball game.
Yeah, that's really the only category that the Clippers are winning in this free throw line, but their Suns have had more points in the paint, better field goal percentage, better 3-point percentage, taking care of the ball better. So yeah, and going back to it, this is not the same overall matchup, because the Clippers, they played Dallas. Of course, we all know that Dallas was Luka centric. Luka Doncic had the ball in his hands a lot, had to create. The Jazz, it was all Donovan or bust. Donovan Mitchell had the ball in his hands a lot, but the Suns are a more well-balanced scoring team. They have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, Jay Crowder, Cameron Johnson. So the Suns have many different ways that they can beat you. As Mr. Kumar said, they play better defense. They execute better on offense. So the Suns is a whole different animal for the Clippers than even the Mavericks or the Jazz were.
Another foul here on Mikal Bridges, trying to run over that screen, but he ended up hitting Marcus Morris. And since they're in the bonus, Marcus Morris gets to the free throw lane and the chance for them to cut the lead back to 11.
You're getting to the free throw line. The question is, can they convert? Can they make those free throws? Make the Phoenix Suns pay for fouling? Because they foul.
I think even if they make the free throws, I mean, you're not going to get too many free throw attempts. I think they need to up their scoring a bit. They need to make some good plays, and that's it. I mean, they missed another free throw there. Marcus Morris misses another free throw.
They need to also, I feel like the Clippers are also going a little bit too much one-on-one, forcing that, trying to get a shot, without limited ball movement. They need to attack the basket, force the defense to collapse and kick it out. They need to trust one another a little bit better. They need better ball movement. They need to play less one-on-one, because that's going right into the Suns' defensive game plan.
Another good pass who was Mikal Bridges, who was cutting through the lane, and he scores, and the lead is 14, 82-68. Morris makes a 2 and cuts the lead to 12 with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left in this quarter.
Yeah, great play by Morris. They need him to get going, Mr. Kumar. He needs to start making.
He's the highest scorer. He's got 17 points, I believe. He's the highest scorer, 18 with that single free throw he made.
But he needs to be more aggressive. He needs to get near 30 points. Paul George needs to get close to 20 to 25 points. They just need scoring ability. Marcus Morris can heat up, and I think he needs to continue to be aggressive and look for his own shot.
Reggie Jackson launches that 3, but misses, and rebound by Devin Booker. Chris Paul, rebound, and a rebound by DeAndre Ayton, but he's been fouled.
Is shooting foul or on the floor?
No, offensive, like rebound foul. So he took that offensive rebound.
Oh, loose ball foul. Oh.
No, not a loose ball, but he had the ball with him. But still, I think he ended up hitting on the eye there by Paul George. So Paul George will pick up that foul.
Oh, I got you.
A nice advantage there. I think 27-22 is the rebound. But this time the ball has been stripped by DeMarcus Cousins.
Hey, he's back in Boogie.
Cousins, 3-point attempt. No good.
Mr. Kumar, you know who also has been very quiet in this game? Reggie Jackson. He's not having one of those Reggie Jackson type of games. Making
three by Tony Craig.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say Reggie Jackson. I would have been like right on cue. But
15 points lead.
Reggie Jackson has been quiet. We know he can score at all three levels, going to the basket, mid-range from three. He needs to have one of those kind of games where he heats up, he makes shots, gets less pressure, forces the defense to get up on him and opens it up for the other player. So I need Reggie Jackson to be more aggressive offensively and to make more shots because he's been awfully quiet
this time,
in this game.
Paul George gets to the free throw lane again.
But we need Reggie Jackson. We need to get the ball to Reggie, and Reggie needs to do some work like he was doing early in the series because he is a key for the Clippers. When he plays well, the Clippers usually win. So they need Reggie Jackson and Marcus Morris to step it up.
So converts that first one, cuts the lead back to 14. Chris Paul will go back to the bench and get a little bit of rest. And Cameron Payne will check back in for Chris Paul. So 13 points for Paul George. Devin Booker with that easy lay-in. Nice screen at the top of the key, and he just comes back in. Nobody to switch him over, and that's just bread and butter. Bread and butter. A nice steal by Tony Craig here on a pass by Paul George. And Mikal Bridges scores. It's a 17-point game.
It's just the Suns others.
72.
The Suns others are stepping up. Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Torrey Craig. So they're making shots, and the Clippers just what happened to their defense? Devin Booker had a straight line drive to the basket. He had another floater. They're just having defensive breakdowns at the worst possible time. And Devin Booker scored 16 points on 7 for 17 from the field. And it's 89-72 Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges,
89-72.
man, what a game Mikal Bridges has had also. He's been very impactful. And timeout.
He's been impactful. I mean, he was right from the start of this postseason. He has been, he's had those spurts, even with the Lakers. He was great in stretches, even against, Denver was, almost like a cakewalk for the Phoenix Suns. Even the first and second game against the Clippers in this particular series, he had some, really good, crucial basket at, crucial times. And so he's stepping up. He's really stepping up. All these young players, they're showing that they are born for this kind of situations.
They're ready for this situation. Exactly. The moment is not too big for them. They're ready to step up. I think Chris Paul is still that confidence into them. They know they where their spots are. They're not trying to do too much. They're stepping up, having confidence and hitting big shots, and it's showing. The moment is not too big for this Phoenix Suns team, and they're playing their very young team. Chris Paul being the oldest player, but the young players are showing that we can step up. We are ballers, and they're making and hitting key shots for this Phoenix Suns team, and that's why they had this lead on the Clippers.
Yeah, we are still live, right? I don't see that live.
No, we are.
At the top.
We are. Okay. Yeah. We are still live here. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. Are the Clippers going to come back from 17 points down, or are the Suns going to the NBA Finals? Put your chats in the comment section below. Mr. Kumar picked the Phoenix Suns to win this game. He's looking pretty good in his prediction. I picked the Los Angeles Clippers. Still work to do. But look at this stat. In the third quarter, Phoenix 23 points, Clippers 15 points. Phoenix is shooting 10 of 17 from the field, while the Clippers are only shooting 3 of 9. So the Suns have been hot, Clippers have cooled down, and that's been the story of this third quarter so far.
DeMarcus Cousins is back into the game.
Good pass to Nicholas Batum, 89-74.
Another foul, and that's going to be on the floor on Torrey Craig. So Paul George trying to attack the basket at all times. So, but I think he'll go to the free throw lane because it's they're over the foul limit. So a lot of free throw opportunities here in this quarter for the Clippers. They have missed quite a few. Paul George makes the first one. Makes it a 14-point game.
What's up, Dhruv? Dhruv Gandhi is here. He is saying, I still believe LA can still get this game 7. Dhruv, as you can see, I'm hoping and praying too that they are. So let's see what's going to happen. But thank you for joining this watch party. Mr. Kumar's chilling. He's looking good so far. So he's hoping the Phoenix Suns can keep this lead. Maybe Mr. Kumar has a Phoenix Suns shirt underneath his shirt that he's wearing. You know, I don't know, but right now they're showing Kawhi Leonard, who wishes that he's out there right now for his team, is missing his 8th straight game with the knee injury. But hey, he can do nothing right now on the bench.
Morris with that 3 makes it a 10-point game.
Woo! Heat up, Marcus. Heat up.
2 minutes and 40 seconds. He's the highest scorer for the LA Clippers, which you would have never expected, with 21 points. Cameron Payne, but DeMarcus Cousins denies him.
Hmm.
8 seconds left on the shot clock. Pass inside to Craig, but tapped out of bounds by Marcus Morris. Devin Booker gets free, and he misses. So he's not been really shooting well this particular game. So can they make it single digits? Paul George misses. DeMarcus Cousins. Rebound, Ayton.
Oh, you paused there for a minute. I was like, something big happening? I was hoping, Mr. Kumar.
Devin Booker is only 8 of 19 from the field for 18 points. So it's not been a great game for Devin Booker. Paul George. Saric comes back. Batum! 3! 6 points! 10-0, the run for the Clippers. And looks like it's game on. Game on.
Woo! 89-82, 143 left. The game is heating up, Mr. Kumar. We have some fireworks going into the fourth quarter. Who will win? Will Chris Paul and the Phoenix Suns make it to the NBA Finals, or will the Clippers force the Game 7? We'll see. We're going right down the stretch here. Man, it is getting hot in here. Timeout, Phoenix Suns, and the crowd. Steve Ballmer is going crazy, Mr. Kumar. He cannot contain himself. And the Clippers, like Mr. Kumar said, are on a 10-0 run, and it's a timeout by the Phoenix Suns.
It looks like the Clippers don't wake up until the lead is a huge lead or something, because that's how they play. I mean, they've had so many games where they have come back from huge margins to win the game. So I think it's like a wake-up call for the Clippers. They've cut the lead to 7, which was 17 just a few minutes ago. The highest lead for the Suns. And, last couple of possessions, the Suns haven't really executed that the way they should have. So hopefully
No,
the
they're
Clippers
sloppy.
don't.
Some turnovers,
Hopefully
you
they
know.
don't run out of gas. That's the only question.
Well, yeah, the Suns have been a little bit sloppy. Turnovers. Clippers have gotten into transition, playing a little bit fast, making the shots there, Mr. Kumar. And yeah, the Clippers don't really. They feel like they could turn on the switch, you know, so they don't turn on the switch until either they're down in the game or they're down in the series 0-2, 3-2. That's when the Clippers usually turn it on. But we'll see if it's enough, you know, as we're getting close to the end of the third quarter. But nice corner three by Nicholas Batum. The crowd is going crazy. Steve Ballmer is going berserk out there. So we
Three by Chris Paul.
oh.
And everybody just left him wide open. I don't know why Pat Bev was trying to probably guard somebody else. He switched over, and Chris Paul was left totally free. And an offensive foul on Paul George. An offensive foul on Devin Booker. Probably got hurt on the same nose that he. Yep, he did.
Is he wearing the mask? I didn't notice.
No, he's not. No, he's not wearing a mask. He was like really uncomfortable wearing that mask. He had a huge problem in that game too, wearing the mask. So I'm sure that's why he's not. But he gets hit on the nose by a swing from Paul George.
I wonder if they're going to look at this, you know, because they've been.
No, I don't think. I think it's a normal.
But they've been calling, though. I've noticed in the playoffs, you know, when the defender's all uptight on you and you try to use your elbow to clear space, they've been calling that a flagrant foul throughout this playoff because it's an unnecessary basketball player, and it was right to the face. So I wonder if they're going to look at it. I'm not saying they should look at it. I wouldn't call it as a flagrant, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do look at this, you know, because Devin Booker got smacked pretty hard, you know, with the already broken nose.
Yeah, I mean, weird things have happened with the replays and the reviews and, you know, whatnot.
Dorian, welcome.
Brandon Dorian.
Yep, it's over. He said it's over. Suns blowing a 10-point lead. Pandemic P not saving anyone. Hey, he can't even save himself sometimes, Mr. Kumar. So I don't know. You know, we'll see. You know, we'll see about that. But yeah, are they reviewing it or no? I'm a little bit behind, Mr. Kumar.
I think they are because the game has stopped and, you know, players are near the benches. So I guess it is being reviewed.
Man, Devin Booker's nose looks super messed up there. He's got hit many times on that nose there. You know, he had a broken nose. He was wearing the mask, and then he said, "I just can't take it anymore." He had a horrible Game 3 performance.
No,
but tonight, Mr. Kumar,
I don't think it was reviewed.
Oh, it was not reviewed. Okay. But he has 18 points, 8 of 20 from the field tonight. He's been playing really well. Oh, no, but Camden is saying it's a flagrant 1 on a PG. So, Camden, is that your opinion, or did they get called that?
Chris Paul goes inside.
Oh, no, it was it was nothing, right, Mr. Kumar?
I don't think so. No. They just threw it out of bounds.
Oh, okay. I'm a little bit behind.
Chris Paul makes a layup, and it's a 12-point game, and there's been some altercation with DeMarcus Cousins right there.
Oh, okay.
After the shot, that is.
DeMarcus Cousins always getting into some scuffle with somebody. Oh, it's Chris Paul and DeMarcus Cousins?
Oh, I think they're going to review this.
Oh, come on. I got to see the replay. I didn't see what happened in real time, but it was on a rebound.
I think it's, it's after the rebound, so they're going to review it. He did throw this elbow out a little bit. I don't know whether it was intentional.
But that was a flop, though. That was a flop.
Yeah, but a good job. That's a good job by Chris Paul on selling that, you know, particular elbow.
That was definitely a flop. He acted like he got smacked right on top of the head where he barely brushed an elbow. So great acting job by Chris Paul. Just like he tried to do last game, Mr. Kumar, against Patrick Beverly, drawing that foul where he fell hard on his back. He tried to flop again, but let's see if the refs are going to buy it,
Cousins gonna get a T. That's what Camden Dorian.
I hope you're wrong, Camden. I don't think that's anything. What do you think, Mr. Kumar? I think that should just be a play on. I think refs should just know that Chris Paul flopped and it's minimal contact. It's just a play on. Chris Paul
He did try to do something with his elbow there.
Is he trying to audition for an acting career, Mr. Kumar, after the NBA? Because he's sure been doing a lot of flopping. Chris Paul is trying to get into Hollywood. I don't know, post NBA career, but
even in the last game, Pat Bev was egging him on for flopping on a foul that was on Pat Bev.
He did flop though. I don't know what you think about it, but he definitely did, flop the last.
Yeah. He did flop though. But I mean, he does a good job of trying to win that foul. So Bush and Suryavanshi says Chris Paul wins the Oscar.
Like I said, he's trying to get a post-career acting job in Hollywood. It looks like, but no, that's for sure. So let's see what they call it is being reviewed right now. 94-82 Phoenix Suns with 55 seconds left to play. Tonight, Chris Paul with 19 points, shooting 8 of 14 from the field. Let's see what they call here. Even Steve Javi on the broadcast said a great acting job by Chris Paul, so at least he admits that. Oh. See, Davy just said they should call a technical foul on Chris Paul, but not, or on DeMarcus Cousins, but not a flagrant foul. Yeah, Bushen, he's auditioning to give a special appearance on Space Jam 2. So
technical foul on DeMarcus Cousins.
I still don't think it should have been a tech, but I guess with the elbow. But it's all reputation. If that was any other player, I feel like it would have been a play on. But DeMarcus Cousins has that reputation of being a hothead, of being over the line a little bit physical. So I think that's why he got that technical foul. It was on reputation rather than whether that was an actual technical
foul.
Well,
he did extend his elbow out, after, like, it was almost like an unnecessary move. But Chris Paul misses that one. So
ball don't lie, as they would say. All right. Chris Paul, as Mr. Kumar said, misses the free throw. So 94-82. Cousins in disbelief over that call. Felt like he got the raw end of the deal on that little altercation. But nevertheless, we shall move on with the rest of this game. The Marcus Cousins gave a little smirk after that missed free throw, saying, "Hey, I told you so. Ball don't lie." But so no harm, no foul for the Los Angeles Clippers. It's still a 12-point game, whether it's Clippers ball. As Mikal Bridges checks into the game, Mr. Kumar.
Marcus Morris trying to drive inside, but he misses. But it's the loose ball went out of bounds and will be on Ayton, and the throw would be given back to, whoa, that looks like DeMarcus Cousins, but Paul George with that fadeaway, no good. 24 seconds left.
Yeah, that did look like it was off DeMarcus, but hey, Clippers catch a little break there.
Paul George gets the switch. He launches a three, and it's good. Chris Paul.
97-82 Phoenix Suns. Three by CP3.
Technical foul on Ayton?
Kanan is saying this game is over. Kanan's still a whole quarter left to play. It looks like Mr. Kumar is a little perplexed by a call on Aiden. I have not seen what's happened so far, but
why did they call a technical foul on DeAndre Ayton? I can't even. George hits the technical free throw.
wait, he was walking away from the ref. He must have said something, Mr. Kumar, or did some kind of hand gesture. Yeah.
.5 seconds remaining in the clock for the end of this quarter. Looks like the Phoenix Suns will go into the fourth quarter with a 14-point lead. Devin Booker launches it. A Hail Mary. But no, it's no good. Don't worry.
What did he do? I still don't understand what DeAndre Ayton did on that take. He looked at the ref, I guess, and then he looked away, or I don't understand that, but hey, I'll take it.
Hey, sometimes these referees are so weird. I mean, they just call the lamest fouls. They just, have these stupid rules on review and stuff. I mean, it's
pathetic. Like that one call, like Luka was staring down that one ref, and he called him a technical foul. Just these technical fouls are just idiotic, over the line. That did not make any sense. Maybe he was wearing the wrong color. He was wearing the orange. I don't know.
Well, he said the N-word.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see his mouth move, though. He didn't say anything, I thought, but I don't know. What?
Thanks, Camden Dorian, for pointing that out.
Yeah. But, hey. Nevertheless, still a 14-point lead for the Phoenix Suns going into the fourth quarter. Can the Phoenix Suns advance to the NBA Finals, the first time for Chris Paul, of course, or can the Clippers keep their season alive and force a Game 7 here, as we got one more quarter left to play? So let's see what's going to happen.
So Chris Paul, the highest scorer now, with 9 of 15. He's 4 of 5 from the three-point line. I just pointed out, in the first quarter.
He must have heard you.
Shouldn't be. He shouldn't be jacking up those threes, because his three-point shooting percentage has not been really that great in this particular series. So I guess he's coming back to his original form, and he's been good at it. So 4 of 5. So still, the Phoenix Suns are shooting 58%. From the three-point line, and it's only 32%.
14 threes made for 14 of 24.
Yeah, and 9 of 28 for the Los Angeles Clippers.
Ooh, so that's brutal.
That's the difference, 5. So it's like 15 points. That's the key difference that is getting the Suns, on top. So 12 more minutes remaining to see if we will have a Game 7, or it is bye-bye Clippers.
Is it going to be 1-2-3 Cancun, or are you going to force the Game 7? Well, we will see. But another difference I've seen is the Suns with 24 assists compared to only 14 for the LA Clippers. Ball movement has been excellent. Execution on offense has been stellar. 40 points in the paint. So while the Clippers are jacking up threes, Suns are getting their bread and butter points in the paint. DeAndre Ayton's playing well. So that's another key, as well as a three-point shooting, Mr. Kumar. So Suns have been doing everything right. They just need to put it together for one more quarter, and they will be advancing to the NBA Finals.
97-83. 12 more minutes remaining. So is it going to be Chris Paul in the finals, or is it going to be Paul George in the finals?
Which Paul is going to make it to the finals? Well, hey, we'll see.
So Jay Crowder comes back in. He's on 4
Oh,
fouls.
is it back? The fourth quarter has started, I guess, for Mr. Kumar. I'm still on commercial break. So I'll let Mr. Kumar carry on with the play-by-play as we're getting into this fourth quarter.
Another offensive rebound. Jay Crowder this time, but unable to convert. DeAndre Ayton gets that loose ball, and he makes it count.
99-83, Phoenix Suns.
So Reggie Jackson. Oh, Cousins. For a three-point play. So offensive rebound there. 8 offensive rebounds for the Suns, whereas only 5 for the Clippers. 35-26, the overall
And one?
rebounding. Yeah, it's an and one.
Yes. Go ahead. Excuse me for interrupting you, but go ahead.
Yeah, 35-26, the difference in rebounding. Chris Paul, easy layup, gets the switch. And
what happened to the defense with the Clippers, Mr. Kumar? It was so great at the series in the first half, but it just fallen off like a cliff in the second half.
Paul George with the ball. Will he make it? DeMarcus Cousins getting inside, but this time unable. And Booker was right there to get the rebound. Again, Chris Paul getting inside. What a finish! What a finish by Chris Paul. He totally flummoxed the opponent there with that reverse dribble. Batum!
He smells it, Mr. Kumar. He can smell the finals. It's right there for him, and he's hungry to get it. So 2 easy buckets for Chris Paul.
It's 18 points and a loose ball taken by Devin Booker.
It's over. Mr. Kumar, I hate to say it as a Clippers supporter right now, but this game is over, I think. I think the Suns are going to take it.
Paul is taking charge of this game.
He is grabbing the bull by the horns. But it's bye-bye Clipper, as Raymond said. 1, 2, 3, Cancun.
3 more for Chris Paul. 3 baskets. And Chris Paul is taking over this game. And it's a 20-point game for the Phoenix Suns.
Cooking. Chris Paul is cooking like a chef. He is blazing hot. He's basically just taking over this fourth quarter so far. And it looks like it's over. It's an insurmountable deficit for the LA Clippers. 20 points with 9:39 left. It looks like the Clippers are going to be booking their vacation to Cancun. And Chris Paul is going to be punching his ticket to his first ever NBA Finals, Mr. Kumar.
And if the Atlanta Hawks come in, I think the Phoenix Suns will have the home court advantage. I think they will have the home court advantage even if the Milwaukee Bucks come in, if that's because they have the better record.
Yeah, they have the better record.
Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah, they're going to get the home court no matter who they play. Yeah. Chris Paul, Mr. Kumar, can he just smell that finals? It's right there for the taking, and he is getting one step closer to making it, and he is completely taking over this fourth quarter. What a masterful performance so far by Chris Paul, and he is just cooking up something special for the Phoenix Suns team.
Yeah, I mean, he's the true floor general right there. He's just taking control of this game. And, you know, that's he makes it slow. He studies the game. He just drives inside, taking that switch over. And if, you know, if there is a switch, he passes to DeAndre Ayton. If there is no switch, he takes the basket himself. And that's what he's been doing repeatedly in the last 3 or 4 possessions. And it's been easy buckets for Chris Paul.
Exactly. He's masterful at the point pick and roll. They're running a high screen and roll, forcing the switch on the big. He's just dancing on the big, going to the basket, shooting his little 10 to 15 footer. Or if he comes out the pick and roll, he sees the big has an advantage on the smaller guard. He's passing it to them. He's forcing the pick and roll on a mismatch. He's taking advantage of that mismatch. This is the legacy game for Chris Paul because you cannot, you know, he's already blown a 3-1 lead, never been to an NBA Finals, Mr. Kumar. So getting to a finals, and if he wins this finals, he has a chance to cement himself as a top 5 point guard in NBA history. So this is such a big legacy game for Chris Paul, and he's really performing well.
Hey, and I really won't be surprised if the Suns come to the finals, that they become the eventual champions, especially with Giannis injured as well with the Bucks. I'd still pick the Bucks to probably win against the Atlanta Hawks, and but without Giannis, it's going to be very, very difficult for the Bucks team to win. And so with the Atlanta Hawks, even Trae Young has to, really, play half the hook in the finals if the Atlanta Hawks reach. But they've had good role players. Bogdanovic finally emerged from the shadows. He looked great in that game 4 in the Eastern Conference. But nevertheless, I think if it's Bucks with Giannis in the lineup, if he's fully fit against the Phoenix Suns, I think it's going to be a great series. It's going to go to 7 games.
I think either both of them will go to 7 games, or at least 6 games at the minimum. I wouldn't give the Bucks much of a chance to beat the Suns because it looks like Giannis might be gimpy on that ankle, and I don't trust Chris Middleton and Holiday. But I think, yes, Camden Trae Young is hurt, but I think he'll get better by the time the finals.
By Marcus Morris.
Okay.
He's been the only player to show up tonight. He's got 21, I think 24, with 9 of 15 from the field, 4 of 9 from the 3-point line. So Marcus Morris showing what he's made of. But here it's Chris Paul again, but this time well short, but an offensive rebound. Jay Crowder, again, that won't go. But this time the rebound by Batum. 8 minutes, 40 seconds.
So back to I think that, the Hawks would give them a little bit better of a shot because of the role players, and then Trae Young has a little less of a severity of an injury than Giannis has. So I actually think I may lean towards the Hawks a little bit in that series against the Suns, but I still think it'll be very competitive. Bucks, I think the Suns are going to win that series because of Giannis's injury status. But I would like to see a Hawks-Suns finals. It'll be 2 different teams, 2 superstars, 2 young players under the age of 25 with Booker and Trae Young, and then with Chris Paul fighting for a championship. So it'll be very intriguing.
Morris gets to the free throw lane, and
I like it. Like, he's the only one doing anything. He's the only one being aggressive. He's the only one that looks like he wants to take a shot. Everybody looks scared to take a shot. So Marcus Morris is going to have to get hot. If not, it looks like the Clippers are going to go home.
So it's a 5-0 run.
24 points for Marcus Morris. 9 of 15 from the field. Oh, 26. 26.
With the 2 free throws. Yeah.
And 4 3-pointers made. And Markieff is sitting in the first row. If you remember last year's playoff run when Markieff was still playing, Marcus was supporting his brother. So the 2 brothers are supporting one another. But it looks like Markieff's team may come up, or Marcus's team
2 points.
Short.
2 points for Devin Booker, makes it at 107-90, 17 points.
And Mr. Kumar, if the Suns win this game, they're going to get some time off because, Game 5 is tomorrow. Game 6 is going to be Saturday with the Hawks, the Bucks. The finals are not going to start till next week. So the Suns are going to get some adequate rest between series. And I think that's going to be key for them, like they have been this entire playoffs. Finishing series early, taking care of business. And
Chris Paul makes it 3 and a 4-point play for Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Step back 3 on Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. It looks like the Suns are going to be healthy and ready for these NBA finals. They look like they're in final shape and ready and hungry to win the championship, Mr. Kumar. I'm sure you feel that same way too.
They are ready. Chris Paul, he is showing it at 8:36. And he makes that free throw to make it a 19-point game. Paul George, corner, Terrence Mann. No, rebound Ayton. 7 minutes remaining, 19-point deficit.
Ooh, that was a filthy Filthy cross.
That's an 8-second violation on Chris Paul on the Phoenix Suns. Good defense there by Patrick Beverley and Terrence Mann.
Chris Paul has 31.7 assists, doing everything on the floor, both on offense and on defense, Mr. Kumar. What a masterful performance. Actually, he has 32 points, 13 of 20 from the field. What a game Chris Paul has. What a legacy-cementing win this is going to be for Chris Paul. And he has a chance to be a top 5 point guard in the NBA history if he can win this NBA Finals. And yeah, it is an 8-second
Paul George missing that 3, and looks like we wanted playoff P, but we got playoff C, if I call it.
Pandemic P. It looks like it's pandemic P going back to or bubble P.
2 for DeAndre Ayton. Make it the largest lead of the game. 21 points.
Man.
He's had a monster game, DeAndre Ayton. 16 points, 17 rebounds.
It looks like it's over. 113-92, 6:41 left. Paul George playing like pandemic P. Chris Paul is playing like CP3. And he is playing amazing. DeAndre Ayton is playing well. It's been a quiet game for Devin Booker, but great all-around performance by this Phoenix Suns team.
Chris Paul will rebound that and take it slowly.
Another turnover.
And Paul gets inside, and another 2 for Paul. Chris Paul. It is not Paul George. We were talking about Paul George, but it's Chris Paul who is coming in and taking over this game. That's it. I think it's done. They're just jacking up threes right now. And it's a 23-point lead for the Phoenix Suns.
It's been done since the start of the fourth quarter, Mr. Kumar. The Suns have had all the momentum. Clippers have had no answers. Paul George is really struggling. And it's just, man.
Chris Paul!
He is unconscious, on fire, Mr. Kumar. My God. Man. He is playing like Steph Curry, making threes like Steph Curry. Wow. I cannot. Maybe this is the best playoff performance.
There's a scuffle going on between Pat Bev and another Phoenix Suns player. And I think it's all over for the Clippers.
Clippers know it's over. Pat Bev is basically just trying to start something. It's over. It's been over. Suns can feel it. And Chris Paul is just unconscious, playing like Steph Curry from 3. It's Steph Curry.
That's gonna be definitely an ejection foul on Pat Bev. He just pushed Chris Paul. I know they've had some words, and that was just totally provocated by Chris Paul because he's like a smart player. But Pat Bev loses his mind and pushes Chris Paul from behind, and he will definitely get ejected for that foul.
Chris Paul started it. He provoked it, but you can't have physical contact with the player. So,
and Paul George has gone back to way off P in this particular game. I don't blame him for it. Unfortunately,
his team is losing. He's frustrated. Emotions are boiling.
Not only that, the Clippers have probably played the most amount of games in this entire postseason. They played 7 games against the Mavericks. They played 6 games against the Utah Jazz. They've been playing pretty much every alternate day, since the postseason started. So, he's just, tired. His legs are giving up on him. So it's very hard to just keep up and play every alternate day and also, become the main scorer, the mainstay of the team with Kawhi Leonard injured. So it's going to be, it's a tough ask from any player, whether it's Paul George, whether it's Chris Paul, whether it's, LeBron James, Kevin Durant. It's a tough ask. You saw what happened with Kevin Durant. He scored, 41 points in that game 7, but, his arms and legs just gave up at the last minute.
No, and it's also just like frustration. Chris Paul has been, getting at Patrick Beverley, irking him this entire series. Clippers aren't playing well. not making shots, just boiling over frustration. Suns have been the better team this entire series, and I think Pat Bev just doesn't accept losing very well, and he's been outplayed by Chris Paul. So I think it's just a matter of fact. And Chris Paul kind of provoked it a little bit, but it's still no excuse for Pat Bev to be able to lose his emotions. He needs to be smarter than that. It's at least going to be a flagrant one for the wind-up and the push. Chris Paul, hopefully he's okay. He was on the floor for a couple minutes there, but I think Clippers are just frustrated because they're playing without their star player. They had a chance to win game 2. They had a chance to win game 4. They should have probably already won the series already. And the Clippers felt like, that, hey, Suns have outperformed them. And I think the Clippers know that they're going home. And so it's just a boiling over frustration.
Yeah, I think give it a couple of more minutes, and I think you'll start seeing the bench being wiped out and coming in to play that game to finish off. It's been a a mixed bag of a season for the Clippers. Again, they were expected not to beat the Mavericks after going 0-2. They were not expected to beat the Utah Jazz after going 0-2. But they did make comebacks, and nobody had written them off after they fell to 1-3 in this particular series. But I think the Suns are just a little bit stronger than the other two teams, and it is difficult to overcome a 1-3 deficit. Chris Paul, having the game of his life, he will shoot that free throw on a technical on Pat, who got ejected.
Yeah, rightfully so. He deserved to get ejected there. You can't just push somebody in physical contact. So it is ejection. I think they need to start getting the Suns players out. Chris Paul was just walking. He had some words for Pat Bev, but not enough to warrant that push very aggressively.
27-point lead. Paul George finally makes a 3.
And Chris Paul, you should have seen the celebration. He knew he was celebrating like, okay, this guy is out of here. I got him. I got the best of him. We're moving on, and the Clippers are going home. So Chris Paul was in a jubilation after that.
Booker with that elbow 2 points. 57% from the field. Luke Kennard makes another 3. So back-to-back threes for the Clippers. 5 minutes left for the Suns to earn a trip to...
It is pretty much booked. The Suns are just counting down the clock. They're going to empty their bench. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Chris Paul, but it was an all-around effort. Mikal Bridges with the contribution. Torrey Craig, Cameron Payne, Jay Crowder. It was an all-around effort by this Phoenix Suns team, and they were just a better team in this entire series, and it showed more balance, played harder on defense, scored more offensively. So congratulations to the Phoenix Suns to advance to the NBA Finals.
So 4 minutes and 30-second Terrence Mann with that alley-oop makes it a 21-point game. I think the Phoenix Suns really taking it easy now, both on offense and defense. I think they just need to slow the game down, use up the clock as much as possible. Booker with a pass to Torrey Craig, and deflected and stolen, but stolen again by Chris Paul. So they get another 24 seconds. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Phoenix Suns will earn their first ever trip to the NBA Finals. Torrey Craig misses that 2-pointer. And Reggie Jackson, no. Luke Kennard with another 3. No, he misses that. So the Clippers arena totally silent there. They are dumbstruck. They expected to win
They're in
DeAndre
total,
Ayton.
they're in
No,
total
Devin
shock.
Booker.
Everyone was expecting the Clippers to win this game, and force a game 7 after that last game. But hey, the Phoenix Suns came focused, came ready to play, had that road warrior mentality, and they were just the better team. And the Clippers felt the pressure a little bit, just couldn't make shots. It's a make or miss league, Mr. Kumar. And the Suns made shots, and the Clippers missed shots. And that was the bottom line to this game. That's why the Suns are advancing to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, and just a hit on the face on Torrey Craig by Paul George. A common foul, but the mask is on, and the bench gets wiped out by the Clippers. Paul George coming back in along with Reggie Jackson. So 2 unsuccessful seasons for Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but they did earn their first trip ever to the Western Conference Finals. And Paul George having, I would say, a mediocre game with just 6 of 15 shooting from the field, 1 of 6 from 3, and 8 of 9 from the free throw lane for a tally of 21 points. So 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining.
From the NBA Finals, man. This is Paul George is subbing out Marcus Morris, Reggie Jackson, all out of this game, getting a huge ovation from the crowd. Great season by the Clippers. Another made 3. Who made that? Who made
George Paul. Chris Paul.
Oh, Chris Paul. Surprised he's still in the game, but hey, he wants to polish it off.
Chris Paul with 41 points in this game. 7 of 8 from the 3-point line, 16 of 24 from the field. Man, I mean, this is what you had.
That was wet. I just saw that right. Oh my, that was nothing but net. Man. He's unconscious.
I think he had he's had 19 points just in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. Yeah, 19 points, 41 points overall, 16 of 24 for 3, 8 assists. The Suns, interesting stat here, are the first team in the NBA history to make the finals after missing the playoffs. You heard that right, missing the playoffs for 10 straight years. And they're the best road team in this playoffs. 5-2 on the road, Mr. Kumar.
Yeah, and they just showed glimpses of that, in the bubble. They won 8 straight games. Of course, Chris Paul wasn't there, in that team last year. But him coming on has really elevated this game, the game of the Phoenix Suns, and they've all elevated their game. The young players, the role players, everybody has contributed, and that's what has led this team to get into the NBA Finals for the very first time.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of formality now. Then we're going to see the next 1 minute and 30 seconds when it's the Phoenix Suns all the way who are going to win this series 4-2 and lay rest to all the doubts.
I still don't think, though, real quick on the Clippers, I still don't think it was a failure of a season. They made it to the first conference finals in their team history. They didn't have Kawhi Leonard, so it was not a failure. I believe if they had a fully healthy team, they would have beaten this Phoenix Suns team. So I think the Clippers can feel proud of themselves about what they've accomplished this year, but hopefully go and keep Kawhi Leonard and build on it for next year. So, but this will be the third time the finals appearance for the Suns in 1976, 1993, and 2021, of course. They were always knocking on the door with Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire, those teams with Mike D'Antoni, but could never get over the hump, Mr. Kumar. But finally they did, and they're going to be advancing to the NBA Finals for the third time in their franchise history. First time ever for Chris Paul.
And you know what? It's going to be A lot of questions to be answered for the Los Angeles Clippers this offseason. What's Kawhi Leonard going to do? And that's one of the biggest questions. How are they going to make changes? They've had some really free agents that they're going to take care of. They've had like players like DeMarcus Cousins, Serge Ibaka, who are all on 1-year rentals. So it's going to be an busy off season for the Los Angeles Clippers. But kudos to them because they were down and out in the first series. We had written them off in the second one. I personally did, but they beat the Utah Jazz without Kawhi Leonard. But this Phoenix Suns team was just a notch above the other two that they played. And congratulations to Chris Paul on winning his first ever trip to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, and they just ran into a buzzsaw in the Phoenix Suns. The Phoenix Suns were just different team. And yeah, Ekalavi, yes, the Suns will have home court advantage regardless of who they play in the finals, whether it be the Milwaukee Bucks or the Atlanta Hawks. And we shall see. They play game 5 tomorrow. But we're ending this game, 11 seconds left, 130 to 103. LA Clippers, or excuse me, Phoenix Suns. So I wish it was the other way around, but unfortunately not. Even though I did predict, we did our predictions. I did say the Suns in 6, Mr. Kumar. So technically, I was right. So I'll take that.
The game is over, and the final score is 120, 130, 103 for the Phoenix Suns. Congratulations to Monty Williams. Congratulations to Chris Paul, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton for carrying this team and reaching the NBA Finals where they will compete the winner of the Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks, which is tied 2-2. And let's see who wins that particular series in the Eastern Conference.
It was an amazing season by the Suns after missing the playoffs 10 straight years. Of course, they beat Mr. Kumar's Lakers in the first round 4-2. They swept the Denver Nuggets. And then they beat the LA Clippers 4-2 on the way to the NBA Finals. So, congratulations to Monty Williams, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, Devin Booker, the whole Phoenix Suns team organization. James Jones, who was the executive of the year after acquiring Chris Paul. So it was a great overall season by the LA Clippers, but the Phoenix Suns came up on top, and I cannot be happier for somebody like Chris Paul, who's really be able to cement his legacy.
Yeah, and 2-2 tight series, Eastern Conference Finals. We'll have Game 5 tomorrow, but Giannis will definitely not play, and Trae Young is questionable.
Yeah.
Again, an injury-prone season. I think Phoenix Suns has probably been the fittest team. Of course, Chris Paul did not play in the first 2 games of this series with the COVID protocols, but he wasn't injured. And, so I think the fittest team today is the Phoenix Suns. So
they're the healthiest team. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
The healthiest team.
Hey!
Say hi to all the fans. That's my daughter waking up early in the morning. She's happy that the Clippers have lost because only a couple of days ago she was telling us, hey, I miss LeBron uncle playing in the postseason.
You mean LeBron? He's already gone. He's gone and out, Mr. Kumar. But no, LeBron is not playing in the postseason for the first time in a while. But hi.
Say hi. Yeah. So
how are you?
Anyway, that's probably the end of our show. Everybody, please subscribe to our channels, the Ekalavia's YouTube channel, the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel, and of course, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Patel and Kumar. That's our handle. And be sure to comment, like, subscribe, and we will come back with our show probably next week. Maybe a live watch party, maybe the Patel and Kumar NBA talk show. We don't know. We'll announce very, very shortly. But right now, it's Congratulations to the Phoenix Suns on winning the Western Conference and moving to the NBA Finals, where they will await the winner of Milwaukee Bucks and the Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your chats. We receive over 100 chats in this live stream, so we appreciate that. Of course, those of you that don't know, they're watching this for the first time. Me and Mr. Kumar, both the co-hosts for the Patel and Kumar Show, India's first and only live YouTube talk show. We're a little biased, but we're the best analysts in the land. We have a lot of fun. We enjoy. We break down all the basketball and the NBA storylines. We have a couple of new segments. Maha Yud, where me and Mr. Kumar go back and forth, and Shivam Stat Attack. So be sure to tune into those shows. You can watch the Patel and Kumar Show on demand, as Mr. Kumar said, on the Ekalavyas YouTube channel and the Patel Pick and Roll Sports YouTube channel. So we'll keep it track. We'll let you know, whether there's a live watch party coming up. For the NBA Finals, as we have another live appearance. How are you?
Oh, she will not be able to hear because I have the headphones, but
I heard him.
Acha, so tell what you want to say. Okay, say good morning to everybody, and we'll see you.
Good morning.
And see you again.
Thursday.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll announce again whether it's a live watch party when the next one is. So be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Patel and Kumar. For Mr. Kumar in Mumbai, India, for Mr. Patel in San Antonio, Texas, we are signing off. Peace.
Peace.